It's showing me that we are started on YouTube. It's showing me we are trying to contact a third party. This is YouTube.
Yes. And we are live.
Thank you, Prem. Thank you for coming on our weekend and helping us out. So today we have so everybody knows Ellen from Malaysia. Ellen is a great instructor. He is an awesome person who has been helping us from couple years now. So now the recording is also in progress. That's great. So Ellen from Malaysia has been helping us in Excel, SQL, Power BI, and many other a lot of other stuff. He's a for those most of you already know him, but for the sake of YouTube people who may be joining for the first time, Ellen from Malaysia has a master's degree in accounting, and he's a great guy in finance modeling. So don't think of this seminar as a basic Excel seminar. The reason we did this seminar is basically we started a series called as Ace the Interview in Excel, because we know that a lot of our audience is data analysts, data engineers, data scientists, finance analysts, and a lot of other people, right? From a different backgrounds. Some people are freshers, some people have intermediate level experience, some people have advanced experience. But having said that, majority of the people are interested in learning not only the basic functions and formulas of Excel, but in understanding what kind of questions can be asked at interviews. So, Ellen here with us today. He has been doing an awesome job, great job of helping people understand simple concepts. And not only when you understand concepts, you may be able to do simple exercises. But Ellen goes much beyond that, and he tries to explain to you um, how those concepts, once you have understood it, once you have imbibed it, how you can do projects out of it, how you can understand it in several ways to understand what questions can be asked at interview. And we do the center of excellence, our group, we do it as a pro bono exercise for everybody, people globally we help, right? So having said that, I'm not going to waste any more time introducing Excel, introducing people, because everybody here knows Ellen. So I would switch it over to Ellen. Ellen, over to you for jumping into our wonderful topic today. Whatever you have planned today.
Financial model.
Yeah. So
All right.
Ellen,
Yeah.
before you go ahead, can you explain to people why this? Because a lot of people say, "Sir, I know Excel, I know index match, I know dense rank formula, I know sum if, I know aggregate functions, I know analytical functions." Can you help somebody, a beginner, understand how does financial modeling help and what kind of people it can help? And then we can start off the topic. And you can jump into the topic and take us through a simple exercise in financial modeling.
Sure, no worries. Okay, so good morning, everyone. Namaste. So I hope you can hear me. If you can hear me, please type number one in the chat box. If you can look at the screen, please type number two in the chat box. So thank you very much, Arun. Namaste. Hi, everyone. You can type number one and number two if you can hear me and you can see the screen. So I have to answer Arun's question. Basically, what we are learning today, what we are learning is basically financial model. But the thing is, why we need to learn this if I know index match, I know XLOOKUP, sum if, condition formatting, and what is the necessity for me to learn this? Because when you talk about financial model, you need to understand financial model derives from the word called finance. Some people will pronounce the word as finance, some people will pronounce the word finance, regardless of how you pronounce the word. Well, finance comes from the letter F. You see, finance and accounting, you can actually put them in two WhatsApp groups, in a similar WhatsApp group, because finance and accounting, you deal with money. But when you talk about accounting, accounting begins with alphabet A. Finance begins with alphabet F. Accounting is something to do with ancient, something to do with the past. That means how much money the company spent yesterday, how much money the company spent last year, how much revenue the company generated for the past 10 years. That is accounting. Finance, it's about future, because finance begins with the alphabet F, so it's about the future. Yes, you want to know how much money you will spend in the future. But when it comes to financial modeling, it's about preparing your finance for the future. So financial modeling means you are preparing the finance for the future. That means how you prepare. Basically, you forecast the future transaction which will happen in the future using Excel file. Okay. So to answer the concern, the requirement of, I already know some if, I already know what if analysis, but how knowing financial modeling can add value to my career? Because oil and gas industries, companies that involve in power utilities, companies that deals with investment, they are dealing with future. We live in a world where we can call it as V U C, okay, VUCA. What is VUCA? V means volatile, okay, V stands for volatile, U for uncertainty, and then C for complex, and then volatile, and then last one is ambiguity. Okay, so to make everyone understand, volatile, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity, that is the future that we are facing. Because we all know what happened in 2020, where we face a pandemic called the COVID-19 pandemic, where most of us have to adapt to the new normal. And of course, these things might be a small matter for some of us, but when you talk about corporates, because we prepare our portfolio, our resume, our interview, so that we can get a job in corporates, in MNCs. But most of the MNCs, they face external factors such as the VUCA. So that's why in order for them to cater for the future, they need to prepare financial modeling. Or some people will use the word FP&A. FP&A means financial planning and analysis, which is also under the family of financial modeling. If you have, every department will have, every company will have a team called budget, where they will prepare for the next year, because now we are already in October, next week is going to be November. So of course, definitely a company will have a budget, will determine whether the company can have the ability to go concern, pay salaries and whatnot. So this topic that we are learning today is financial modeling, how we are going to use an Excel file, a blank Excel file from scratch to prepare a financial model. But I'm not going to prepare a financial model of a company. I'm going to prepare a financial planning for us. As a humans, we also need money. With money, we can buy iPhone. With money, we can buy food. With money, we can pay EMIs, installments, we can pay bills and whatnot. So what I'm going to do is, from this Excel file, I am going to prepare a financial planning. Okay, so the first step is I press Ctrl G. When I press Ctrl G, a box will appear. I will go to C1. Enter. So right now we are in column 1, row 1 and column C. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to press Ctrl semicolon. Where is semicolon? Semicolon is this button over here. As you can see, this is a semicolon button. But I told you what, I'm going to press Ctrl semicolon. When I press Ctrl semicolon, it will show you 27 October, which is today's date, the current date of India and also Malaysia, today's date. And then what I want to do is, the next I press enter, I press equal EOM. EOM means it is the formula of end of month. So the end of month, there are two arguments, start date and months. So start date, I'm going to select it over here. Months, I'm going to start with 0. And I'm going to press enter. So some of you will ask me, what is end of month? End of month will determine the last day of the month. So when I press enter, of course, it becomes a different format. I need to change to a general format. I need to change to a short date format. So I go here, I click it over here and change to short date. So if you see here, this is the today's date. This is the last day of the month. I need to change to a short date format. So if you see here, we put here 0. If I put here 2, it will become 2 months. That means today is October. When you plus 2 months, October, November, December. If just say I change this to -2. So today is October. October you minus 2 means you'll get September and August. So I want to choose the current month, which is October. So that's why 0 means the current month. Okay. So if just say you want to know the exact date, so you can view equal E date, and then you can select this date over here. You press comma and just say I put here 1. Of course, here we have this format. From general, you change to short date. So today is 27 October. But right here, you see 27 November. So E date is the exact date, whereby EOM is the end of month. Okay, so now we do have the starting date. We do have the last day of the month. What I want to do next is I want to put here equal text, tab. We have value, we have format text. Value, I'm going to select this. You can either select the start date or end date. It doesn't matter. I'm going to put comma. I'm going to put apostrophe. I want to put M, 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 and then I want to put Y, Y. M means month, Y means year. Some of you will ask me why there is 3M, why there is 2Y. I'll explain to you. So I close apostrophe and I press enter. If you put 3M, it will have a short form of October. If just say I put 4M, it becomes the full version. If just say I put here 2M only, it will show you the number of the month. So instead of 2M, I want to put 3M so that it becomes a short form. And then this is 27 October, 31st October, and October. What I'll do is I'll put here equal. I'll select the 31st October, I plus 1. So 31st October, you plus 1 because 31st October is the last day of the month. And when you plus 1, you'll get 1st November. And then what you do is, in your keyboard, there is a control button and there is a R button. So what you do is, you press Control R. So when you press Control R, of course, you will see hashtag. It's not wrong. It's just that our column is small. So what we need to do is, we need to double click over here so that it will become, extend the size. It become the column will become auto fit. I press down arrow and I press Control R. So right now what you see is, this is October, this is November. So what I'll do next is I'll press Control G, I'll press AZ, and I press row number 3, and I press enter. Then I press Control Shift, left, Control Shift, up, and Control R. So when I press Control R, it will drag from the left to right. Control R means it will copy from left to right. And then of course you have this hashtag. The keyboard shortcut is alternate H O I. I means auto fit column width. So you press I. So what happens is it will auto fit the column width. And if you want to make it center, you press alternate. So if you see here H for home, so you press H. And if just say you want to center, you press AC. So all these will be center. So right now what we have is we do have a monthly template. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do again so that everybody can understand. So let's get started. So what I'll do is I press Control semicolon. Okay, so when I press Control semicolon, it will show you today's date. And if you remember just now what I do is I press equal, EOM, and then I press tab, I go up, comma, so the start date will be today's date, and for months I put 0 because 0 is the current month. And then after that I put here equal, text, and then after that select the value, comma, I must put apostrophe. Why apostrophe? Whenever there's an equal sign, they cannot recognize apostrophe. And then what I'll do is I'll put here M, and then Y, apostrophe, and then enter. So you have October 2024. And then after that, I put here equal 31st October plus 1. 31st, when you plus 1, you will get November 1st. And then I press Control R. Control R means copy left to right. Control R means copy left to right. Then Control G. And then I go to AZ3. Enter. Control Shift left. Control Shift up. Control R. So you'll notice that right now, it will copy from left to right and it will be automated. Even now, although we are still in 2024, but we can prepare a template up to 2028. And not only that, you can also calculate your age. Okay. So for example, over here, just let me do some adjustment. So if just say I put here equal year. Year is a formula, they will calculate the year from a given date. So if just say I select this particular data and I close bracket and enter. So of course, this format is a date format. If I choose general format, it will show you that the year is 2024. So again, I repeat, if I put here equal year, open bracket, and I select this 31st October, close bracket and enter, you will have 2024. And of course, if just say I put here center, of course, it looks great. So I can press Ctrl G, AZ4, enter. And then Ctrl Shift left, Ctrl R. So you'll notice that it will show you your monthly data. Even though we are still in 2024, we can have the planning up to 2028. And then if just say I want to calculate my age. So I put here equal, I put here the 2024 minus the date of where you born. So just say you born, assuming you born on 1996. And then you press enter. So of course, for the current year, you are 28 years old. So I press here Ctrl G, AZ5, enter, Ctrl Shift left, Ctrl R. So of course, you can have a planning up to 32 years old. And not only that, you can even extend. For example, I press Ctrl G and maybe I press EZ5. It will go to column EZ and row number 5. Ctrl Shift left, Ctrl Shift up, Ctrl R. So right now you'll notice that it will copy from left to right. And then after that, you can press alternate HOI so that it will expand the column. So even though we are still in 2024, you can still have a plan up to 2037. But not only that, like I told you, what we can do is we can actually prepare some planning. So for example, you have a salary over here. Okay, we have a salary. And then after that, we also have some expenses. Because now if we work in a company, our expectation is to get salary. Once we have a salary, we need to pay for the EMIs. EMIs means your installment. We have to pay bills. And then we have to pay maybe entertainment. Being a human, you also want to have entertainment. Of course, we need to pay for food. Of course, we need to have our savings, emergency, okay, and then travel, and of course, not to forget food. Okay, so now let's assume if just say your salary is up to 5,000. Okay, I put in 5,000 US dollar. 5,000 US dollar. And of course, in US, of course, just assume you bought maybe renting in a room or bought a house. So your installment that you need to pay is 1,000. And then, of course, let's assume you watch Netflix, you pay the internet, Wi-Fi. I put here negative 500. Entertainment, of course, I put here negative 500. Savings, I put here negative 500. Emergency funding, I put negative 500. Travel, I put maybe you travel every day, you put here negative 200. And then food, maybe I put here negative 1,000. So when I auto sum, you'll get about 4,200. So now you'll have a balance. So your balance is basically equivalent to 5,000 minus 4,200. If you just minus like that, you will not get 800. Instead, you'll get a bigger amount. Why? Because minus and minus is equals to positive. So the best way you can do is you will put it absolute your given data, absolute it, and you press enter. So now you get here about 800. Okay. So now if you see this is the balance. So of course, in accounting, we have an opening balance and we have a closing balance. So what I'm going to do is I'll just put here, okay, this is your opening balance. And then this is your closing balance. Okay. So closing balance, maybe I'll put here closing balance. So closing balance is equivalent to this number over here. Okay. And maybe plus with the top number. Okay. So this is the data. Okay. And then after that, what I'll do is I'll just put here equivalent to 800 over here. And then after that, I'll just drag up, Control Shift up, Control R. So now when you press Control R, it will copy from the left to the right. And then over here, so I'll press Control R. So your balance for the subsequent month will be 1,600. Assuming if just say you have a balance, because after you spend everything, your bills, entertainment, you have your savings funding, you have your emergency funding. After saving, you have 800. So 800, when you accumulate for the second month, you will have 1,600. So now you just say I press Control G. I go to EZ, column EZ, row 20, Control Shift left, Control Shift up, Control R. So right now you will see, of course, here we have hashtag. What we can do is alternate HOI. So over here, at the age of 41 or in the year 2037, there is a possibility that you can save up to 123,000. Okay. So in this case, this is what they call as a glimpse of financial modeling, because you are preparing the future. Even though we haven't finished 2024, but in 2037, we can actually have a planning that we can determine that we can save up to 123,000. And the interesting part is any changes over here. Just say I want to spend more on my food because I'm hungry and I would like to eat my breakfast, lunch, dinner. So instead of 1,000, I put 1,500. So you will have a lesser savings. So when I drag to the right and I press Control R, you will notice that eventually your savings will reduce. Okay. But now if just say I want to buy a car, okay, like let's change this. Maybe I put this, okay, let remain 1,000. I want to buy a car. Okay. Different cars got different pricing. If just say I buy a Honda car, I have a different pricing. When I buy a BMW, I have a different pricing. So let's just say I add a column. I put here car. Okay, because I want to buy a car. And of course, we have a car installment that we need to pay. So this one, I can change the scenario. So maybe what I'll do is, I'll put here Honda and I'll put here BMW. So Honda, if assuming in US, maybe you need to pay about $500 as a monthly installment. BMW, I need to pay 1,000. Okay. So right now what I can do is I can just change it over here. I can go to data. I go to data. I go to data validation. I go to allow. I click list. And the source, what I do is I select this data over here and I press OK. So now I can play around what I want to choose and so on. And then I can also, like what we have learned, XLOOKUP. You can actually use XLOOKUP equal XL. This is your lookup value. I will lock this. And then this is your lookup array. And then this is your return array. I also will lock this. And I press enter. But of course, this one we are paying the money. So I'll put here negative. And then what I'll do is I'll press Control R. So you will notice eventually, because of buying a Honda, your savings will be reduced. Your closing balance will be reduced. So what I'll do is I'll put here starting date. I'll put here end date. I'll put here the period, year, and age. Okay. And then, of course, I'll just try to reduce the size. Double click this and I will freeze pane, because when I scroll to the right, I can't see the header. Or when I go down, I can't see the months. So what I need to do is I need to freeze the pane. So I go to view, I go to freeze pane, I click freeze pane. So by like this, I can understand what is my savings and so on. Okay, so it's just like one view, one glimpse that I can understand how much I'm going to spend, how much my savings and so on. But what I'm going to do next is I want to know whether should I buy a BMW or should I buy a Honda. If just say I buy a Honda, okay, when I buy a Honda over here, if I buy BMW, you will notice that I will have a negative balance because my money will be reducing and it will affect my balance. Okay, so but if just say I buy a Honda, I can actually save 300. But if just say I bought a BMW, I will have a negative balance. So this is what financial modeling is. It's not only you preparing for the future, you also have a scenario analysis. Scenario analysis means if just say I buy Honda, so Honda means I will have some savings. If I buy BMW, I will have a negative savings. Okay. So of course, this topic is very complex. It's not possible for me to teach within 1 hour. But of course, what we learn from this particular session is we learn that from scratch, we can actually prepare a financial modeling, a financial planning. Even though we haven't finished October 2024, but we can prepare up to 2037. Okay, so my friends, I think I've teaching you or I've taught you on what is financial modeling. Okay, so maybe you can just type 3 in the chat box, or you can show thumbs up if you have learned something. Okay, so this is what I taught you all, a simple financial modeling. Of course, financial modeling is very, very big topic, because if just say I were to go to the Google, let me just go to Google so that I can show you. So if just say I type here financial model, okay, so financial modeling is very complex. Basically something like this, where you have the periods, we have the accounting items. Basically, you are preparing for the future. And how this will be relevant to you? Because if you know financial modeling, you can consider yourself as an advanced, efficient, expert Excel user. Why? Because knowing conditional formatting is one thing. Knowing sum if is one thing. But when you know financial model, when you know to prepare it, you have the ability to not only prepare an Excel template, but also can add value to the company to prepare for the future. So you can actually go to Google, just say I type here FMVA, Financial Modeling and Valuation. Okay, financial modeling and valuation. So there is a certificate on financial modeling and valuation analysis. You go here and you can enroll in this course. Okay, but of course, sometimes you don't have to pay money. If you want to learn for free, you can go to YouTube. But of course, if you want certificate, you can go to this website. And in this website, they have in-depth course on how you can learn financial modeling. So what I taught you just now is just a teaser. So from here, you can actually prepare three statement modeling, discounted cash flow valuation modeling, and so on. So by this case, you can not only learn the bits and pieces of Excel, you also have the ability to prepare a full Excel template from scratch regarding financial modeling. And then once you are good in this, then you can also add value to the company. Because once you are in a position where you can add value to the company, you can actually put that in your portfolio. And then, of course, you will definitely get your dream job in the future. All right. So nevertheless, this is what we learned today. So back to the MC. So nevertheless, my dear friends, if you have any questions, you can ask. But if you have no questions, then class dismiss.
So, guys, this is your time when you can ask any question to Ellen, Soumya, Prerna, Prem. Ellen, so when we are doing this financial modeling, thank you for the insights, though. So when we are doing this financial modeling, uh, typically, can you share some experiences where, like if I'm dealing with the stakeholders, what kind of questions the stakeholders ask me when, suppose I'm a beginner, right? And I have prepared a great model, and I have shown it to my stakeholders, my internal stakeholders or my external stakeholders. What kind of challenges might I face?
The truth and reality is every time when we presented to our internal or the external stakeholders, there will always be comments and changes. The financial model that you prepare will not be constant. Because why? The word financial modeling itself, forecasting for the future.
Correct.
Nobody can actually predict the future. We predict the future based on assumptions. What are the assumptions? Assumption of historical data. That means maybe we have a base of 10% increment, or maybe option B, a base of 20% increment, or option C, a worst case scenario like happened in COVID-19 pandemic. So you
Correct.
may prepare about three different cases, but suddenly the boss, when they review, they want additional cases. So it will not be constant. So as a financial modeler, what you need to do is you need to be flexible. Flexible in the sense is you cannot assume that your report will be fixed. You must give a space whereby you can actually give space so that you can add more scenarios, more situations. Because what if,
Great.
let's say, your boss say, okay, I want a 7-year report. Then the next week, he say, I want a 10-year report. Then the next week, he says he want a 15-year report. So you don't
Right.
have to prepare again and again and again. What you can do is you prepare for the worst case, and bear in mind, of course, there'll be changes, but at least there is a room for space in your Excel file to amend the changes. So if the boss wants 7-year report, I show him 7 year. If he wants 15 years, I show him 50 years.
Got
So
you.
bear in mind, it will have a changes. We need to be flexible.
So Ellen, let's talk a little bit about from the point of view of a fresher. Let's talk about if a new person, if a fresher in Excel is learning how to prepare a financial model, what are some of the tips that you might want to share? How, so let's say I'm a newbie, right? So
Mm-hmm.
what I want to do is I want to prepare is this the financial model I'm preparing for the first time with some help from some seniors or somebody, or I'm doing it myself. I may have looked at a model on YouTube. I may have looked at a finance model on somewhere else. My friend shared with me how to do that. So the question is, how do I um, what are the some of the tips that you may want to share to prepare a good financial model?
First
How
step
d-
is
how can suppose you are my boss, Ellen, and you want to say, Arun, this is a good work that you good effort that you've put in, but but you are missing XYZ points. So what are the typical mistakes people do while preparing a model, and how can we avoid them?
Yeah, I understand, Arun. Actually, in this context, preparing a financial modeling is not an easy game. It's not like you're preparing a dashboard because
Right.
it's one Excel file with several sheets. Because financial modeling itself is a very big topic because you have one sheet where you input, one tab where you do the calculation, another tab is just to show to the stakeholders. So to answer your question, as a fresher, what is the first step I need to do? I need to understand my industry, my company, and my team. Why I need to understand the industry? Because preparing a financial modeling in a food and beverage industry is totally different from preparing a financial modeling in a oil and gas industry. So
Makes
number
sense.
one step is you must understand the industry. Some cases, like when you work in Ernst& and Young, when you work in consulting firms, audit firms, banks, you have several clients. One client is a startup, one client is a restaurant, one client is a bank, and so on. So in this case, if you are like a freelancer or you are a consultant, you have several cases. So the second step is if you have multiple industries, understand your team. Of course, to work with team sometimes it's not easy because you do have seniors who might not help you. You have seniors who have busy with their own work. So what I will suggest is the number one step is learn to build a Excel template from scratch. Learn the formulas. It's not
Okay.
easy to learn everything within one day, but learn the formulas. Of course, you can ask your senior. Of course, most of the files, bear in mind, it's confidential. Confidential means you cannot share to any external parties, but ask your seniors, okay, I want to have a look and so on. And then from looking on the particular financial model, try to prepare on your own. It doesn't have to be perfect, but at least you know what are the steps, how they can just change the scenario, how they can input the numbers, how when they input this particular tab, it will affect the chart. So once you know this step, maybe you can give yourself maximum 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, or maybe 1 2 months, 1 2 months for you to be well versed in the financial modeling. But sometimes some companies, what they'll do is, if you are a newbie, they will send you for training, maybe 1 day training, 2 days training, and so on. So once you attended the training, of course, you when you go for the training, it's not for you to daydream or sleep during the class, especially online class. It's for you to focus during the class because your manager send you for the training so that you can add value to the
Yeah.
company. Okay, so it's not for you to daydream during the training and so on. So once you attend the training, once you familiar with the report, work with your team because it's very rare a junior will prepare the report and can present straight away to the external stakeholders. The reason there is a senior so that the senior can guide and help you. Of course, as a junior, your job is to help the senior. At most, be a team player. Don't really focus on your work only. Try to be a team player, but of course, it will affect your mental health, your work-life balance, and so on. But you have to think it will give you a best avenue for your future because when once you know financial modeling, you know everything about Excel. Okay, I mean not literally everything, but most of it. You know, like the VBAs, the codings, how to automate, how to actually avoid circular refreshing, absolute reference. So of course, the first step is learn Excel. Try to prepare the financial modeling on your own. Then after 1 2 months, try to work closely with your seniors. It's okay to get scolding, but nevertheless, gain as much as experience you gain. Learn, okay, take the opportunity maybe to present to the stakeholders, present to the clients. Will not be easy because your clients, the external parties, will have a different expectation. So how
So,
maybe one, yeah.
so Ellen, we are lucky to have you in the COE. We have many other great resources like Kavya Gupta, who has been working with financial modeling, valuations, and other things. We have fantastic resources within our COE. So, can you suggest to us, if I'm a beginner, if I'm a learner, maybe I'm a basic learner, or maybe I've done some intermediate stuff, can you suggest some resources that are available, maybe on YouTube, maybe somewhere else, maybe it's a book? Can you suggest us something that I can look at? Maybe we want to search an institute like CFI. There are many places where people can learn financial modeling. Could you can you search out any one or two basic resources? And I know you have a plenty of resources, but you can search a couple basic ones, so that if I want to start today somewhere, I will watch your. You have many videos on your channel, Ellen's channel, Learn with Ellen. So we are fortunate enough to have the channel with us, and also we have the COE channel. But if I want to learn something on my own, what are the other resources that you can suggest us?
Okay, so yes, it's good to have the learning attitude, willing ability to learn. But of course, you see, this is I don't want to be a philosopher, but this is what I will tell to my younger brother, my friends, my juniors, my younger sisters, and anyone. Of course, sometimes we live in a world where we are really obsessed with the word of output. That means what salary you have, what car you drive, what phone you use, and so on. So, of course, your question is as a fresher, okay, what should I do? Of course, if you really fall in love with Excel, you really fall in love with presentation, you have that willingness to work, sometimes have the flexibility to work on Saturday, Sunday, beyond 5 p.m. If that is what you can do it, you want to do it, you have done it, then by all means, you can try to venture your career as a financial modeler and a valuation analyst. But what if just say deep inside bottom of your heart, you don't have the excitement to build a Excel modeling? I have seen clients, they don't have that passion to actually use Excel. So I have prepared a kind of a format, a template whereby you must know what is the input, process, output. The problem with majority, including myself, we are really obsessed with the output. That means what is the salary, what is the company that we are working, what car we drive, and so on. But the reality that we need to think is our life itself, it's a process. And life, when I'm talking about life, is not entirely about work. It's about work, life, sleep, eat, exercise, and enjoy. But to answer the question, now if they say you are a junior executive, you are given a task, what is your gameplay? Okay, first and foremost, I will tell them is, do you love valuation? If you don't have that passion, you don't have the desire, then maybe it will be a struggle because there's no burning desire to do it. But if just say I really love it, that means regardless of my work-life balance, regardless of my salary, regardless of the company I'm working, I really love valuation. I really love Excel. Then the step number two is I'm going to answer Arun's question, which is how you're going to do it. You must have a timeline. What is a timeline? Of course, there's a proverb whereby Rome is not built in a one day. Meaning to say, to build a financial modeling is not within 1 second, 1 hour, or even one day. Especially a complex report, it can even take about 2 months, 3 months. The first thing you need to do is you need to understand what is the company reports, company financial models. They are very complicated case. Try to understand that. And then what you need to do is you break down into pieces. Break down into pieces means you try to understand, okay, what is their input sheet? Because in normally for project finance, they will have a particular sheet for tax. Every company in this world, they have to pay tax, especially when they make profit. Number two is there is also a particular type of debt. That means because when if just say I don't have money, I ask money from the investors or the bank loan holders to give me money. When I ask money from the bank, I have to pay interest. If I ask money from the investors, I need to pay dividend. So I need to break down into these pieces. And then to answer Arun's question, what are the resources? Resources, of course, corporate finance institute is a basic one. Of course, you also have Wall Street Mojo. And then after that, you also have Ed Bodmer, who is also an expert in financial modeling. So you try to Google them, you learn them, but make sure you have a timeline. This timeline, give yourself maximum of 4 months. When I say 4 months, give yourself 4 months. Maybe that 1 week, you understand what is the company financial project. Week number two, you understand what is the process of building the financial model, where it starts, how it ends, and so on. And then the third, fourth week, learn how to work with your team. Because, of course, working with seniors is not easy. Some of them are kind hearted, some of them are cold. So, how you communicate with your manager, how you manage your manager is a very pivotal thing. So, once you manage your bosses, once you manage your internal thing, on month number two or month number three, the second month, third month, give yourself a chance to be a team player. A team player means try to volunteer, try to do, but on a side effect, of course, it will affect you because we'll have a lot of work. Sometimes you have a bad politics and so on. Of course, that's a different topic actually. But on month number four, try to give yourself the opportunity to present to bosses. This is what the interest rate looks like. This is what our profit is. This is what our IRR. This is what our cash flow and everything. So once you have a tentative, once you have a timeline, then I think it's either you fail or you succeed. But I think in this context, when you have a plan, regardless if you fail, I think it's better for something that you never do anything at all. Okay, meaning to say, it's better to do something than not doing anything at all. So someone with a plan will definitely achieve something compared to someone who doesn't have a plan or any effort and so on.
Thank you, Ellen, for those insights. I think these I will also myself. I have myself looked at these resources before, but I'm sure that a beginner will benefit a lot from our guidance. And Ellen, let me ask you for one more favor. Uh, can you, because everybody definitely is seeing you on YouTube and they listen to a lot of recordings, and because Diwali is very close to us, some people may not have been able to join today. But at the same time, if you can also share your own, you have a wonderful YouTube channel where you have posted many great videos. Can you please show it online one more time so that people who are watching us on YouTube, people who are in the CO Center of Excellence groups, they will be able to access your videos whenever they have time.
Here you go.
So, Alan, can you describe? Suppose I was going to this. I was a new member, and I was looking at some of the good videos that you have produced to help a lot of people globally. Can you describe how are the videos organized, or what is your playlist? What kind of videos are available in your channel?
My videos, one of the interesting thing about my videos, of course, I'll be honest, okay. I'm in the process of improving my videos. I'm trying to do the editing, try to improve my technical part because having a YouTube is a different topic actually, because you need to make sure your thumbnails, your audio recording, your
Yeah,
editing is good. So I'm
Ellen.
in the process of that.
Yeah, I don't worry about the thumbnails because see, beautifying and giving stuff. We at COE love real people like you who, out of their goodness, they share a lot of great material. And at the COE, we don't care about good thumbnails or show off and all those kind of things. We believe in creating good material, good content so that people can benefit. And you are a great example. You are a role model in doing that. So from that perspective, I was asking you.
All right, yeah, sure. Thanks, Arun, for your big words. But actually, I would say, you see, in the context of my YouTube channel is basically, especially I've created this particular new playlist. What is so exciting about this playlist is you have a problem and you have a solution. Okay, so maybe what I'll do is I will just open this video. Okay, so wait, let me just. Okay. Hello and a very good day, everyone. So today we just adjust. Okay, so what you're looking right now, my dear audience, you have this particular data, this problem, and you have a solution. So now the requirement is you need to find a 3 consecutive increment. So from this given data, how to determine 3 consecutive increment? Instead of doing one by one manually, how we can automate this report so that in future, we don't have to do one by one. We just press right click, refresh, it will be automated. So in this 10 minutes video, I actually showed to the audience on how we can actually automate this report to determine 3 consecutive increment. So to answer Arun's question is basically what is this channel? This channel, we also provide cases whereby, like for example, I want to actually combine 2 tables. Like in this case, we have the staff table, we have the product. So how to combine these 2 tables into 1 table? So of course, in this 5 minutes video, you will learn the step. And the same thing goes to this particular video. Like for example, in this video, I want to capture the date and the amount. How I want to do it? I don't want to do it manually. That means I don't want to do one by one manually. I want to do it using Power Query. How I do it? So all those things is available in my channel. And not only that, let me just go to my playlist. In my playlist also, I also have case studies. Case studies means, okay, let me just show you all what is the case studies I'm referring to. Okay, because I have clients with so many questions. Sometimes they want their report from this format to this format, preparing an automated calendar. Because I have one of a client, he have a workshop, he don't have a system, it's a small company, a startup, they doesn't have any system like SAP or whatnot, they only have Excel, and they want to use Excel to create a timesheet. So in this table, in this video, I have created a timesheet, and I think in one of the video, I never add here, but in one of the video, I have also calculated the age of a student. So let me just show y'all so that y'all can see clearly. One of the videos over here, it's not here, but here we have these reports.
Ellen, by the way, I was very happy. I myself looked at some of these videos, like maybe 3 or 4 days back, and I was pretty pleased with what we are seeing. You have really taken a lot of efforts to create these videos for the benefit of everybody, and I strongly recommend all the audience members who will be listening to it later on to subscribe to this channel called Learn with Ellen, right? And also subscribe to the COE channel, because that way you
Yeah,
are learning something, you are not missing out on any new information. So please do that, guys.
so yeah, it's more to how you transform data. It's based on when you have a problem, what is your solution? So this is the YouTube channel for that.
Thank you so much, Ellen, for spending your weekend with us. Thank you, Prem, for hosting this meeting, organizing this with us. Uh, Prerna or Soumya, if you don't have any other questions, we can close down. Is that okay with you guys? All right. Thank you, Prerna. Thank you, Soumya. Thanks, Ellen,
All
Prem.
right, thank you. Take care.
Bye. Thank you, guys. Bye.